On February 3rd, 2026, Floyd Mayweather filed a lawsuit in California against Showtime Networks and Stephen Espinoza, claiming they helped his former advisor, Al Haymon, misappropriate a huge chunk of his fight earnings to the tune of $340 million.
And he had been giving him 50,000 and 50,000 and 50,000. He had already gave Gamboa about 300,000 to chill on the side. And then we ended up, when he did go in, I ended up picking up all the fighters.
Al Haymon was so good at his job
that
he was clowning these networks. He was out negotiating the networks to the point where they were giving you an inferior product because his fighters were getting overpaid for lesser fights.
We weren't getting overpaid.
In that,
we weren't getting
I'm happy for every dollar you made.
Freddie Hernandez.
Yeah, right.
This is the golden child of Al Haymon right here.
But it is admirable that Al Haymon not only did his job so well, but was helping fighters get rich while he was doing it. He created a climate where fighters started to begin to believe that they were worth more money. I don't mean to me. You're worth all the money in the world to me, the fighters. But I mean to the marketplace.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity, you ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money.
Crawford beats your ass. That's the line 50 Cent just used while clowning Floyd Mayweather. And it all circles back to a jaw-dropping $340 million lawsuit. What makes this lawsuit even more explosive is the sheer scale of the accusation. Floyd Mayweather isn't talking about a few accounting errors. He's alleging a carefully crafted scheme that unfolded over years. According to the filing, money from some of the biggest fights in combat sports history quietly vanished, including the Conor McGregor spectacle that shattered pay-per-view records. Now, the undefeated legend claims the truth was hidden in plain sight.
Floyd is stepping into the courtroom to fight for money he claims that he was never paid, and he wants justice on his terms. So let's talk details. Let me tell you about the lawsuits. On February 3rd, 2026, Floyd Mayweather filed a lawsuit in California against Showtime Networks and Stephen Espinoza, claiming they helped his former advisor, Al Haymon, misappropriate a huge chunk of his fight earnings to the tune of $340 million. Mayweather says the money is still missing and unaccounted for, and he's now suing Showtime and Espinoza for aiding and abetting breach of fiduciary duty, civil conspiracy to commit fraud.
At the center of the storm stands Al Haymon, once Mayweather's closest advisor. The lawsuit paints a picture of betrayal, accusing Haymon of secretly redirecting fight revenues while keeping Floyd in the dark. Partial documents, missing records, and unexplained accounts allegedly ensured Mayweather never saw the full financial picture. For a fighter who built an empire on control and precision, this revelation strikes at the very core of his legacy.
Floyd argues that during his legendary career, where he generated $1 billion in revenue plus and pay-per-view money, a significant portion of the funds that he made through those events, through his fights, didn't make it into his hands because they were funneled through accounts controlled by his then advisor, Al Haymon. Now, Mayweather says that Showtime delivered those checks and funds through systems that helped Haymon get the money instead of paying Floyd directly. The lawsuit also points to some of boxing's biggest pay-per-view fights, including fights against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, events that generated hundreds of millions in revenue. Mayweather's legal team said he generated hundreds of millions in revenue for Showtime and now wants to recover what he claims was unfairly taken.
Things grew even more suspicious when Mayweather's new team stepped in. Once Richard Schaefer and his representatives demanded transparency, Showtime reportedly failed to provide complete financial breakdowns. Especially alarming were the missing details tied to the Manny Pacquiao mega fight and the McGregor crossover event, two of the most lucrative bouts ever staged, yet the numbers, according to the lawsuit, simply didn't add up.
Al Haymon himself, the advisor that Mayweather blames for the missing money, is not named as a defendant in the lawsuit. Instead, Mayweather's legal action targets the network and Stephen Espinoza. He claims they aided and abetted these alleged financial wrongdoings. So what does this mean, and what's like a potential outcome for this case that's coming up? Well, the lawsuit could have some pretty serious implications, not only for Floyd's legacy, but also for how networks and advisors handle fighter compensations. Mayweather wants hundreds of millions back plus punitive damages, pushing this beyond a simple accounting dispute. If the court rules in his favor, it could open the door to more scrutiny of boxing's behind-the-scenes financial relationships.
Now this legal battle threatens to expose what really happened behind the scenes of boxing's biggest paydays, with $340 million allegedly unaccounted for and potential damages climbing even higher. The case could send shockwaves through the sport, and as fans digest these claims, voices like 50 Cent only add fuel to the fire, turning a financial dispute into a full-blown public spectacle with reputations on the line.
You had a boxing promotion company once.
Yeah.
What happened with the boxing promotion company?
That really happened, Ken, because of my relationship with Floyd. You know what I mean? I didn't have interest in being a promoter like out the gate. It was just, he was doing Mayweather promotions at the time. And then he had to do 90 days. He was going to jail. And he had fighters, he had Rockers Gamboa, he had guys that was just lingering. I'm like, champ, if they're gonna leave. You go to jail, they're just gonna leave. Like,
right.
And he had been giving them 50,000 and 50,000 and 50,000. So he had already gave Gamboa about 300,000 to chill on the side. And then we ended up, when he did go in, I ended up picking up all the fighters.
Right.
And so it's Rockers Gamboa. I had James Kirkland, Andre Durrell, Billy Dip. He was the IBF champion at that point, and then a few other guys younger guys that I picked up.
Never one to hold back, 50 Cent wasted no time turning Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit into public comedy. Doubling down on years of online jabs, the rap mogul didn't just mock Floyd, he offered a blunt solution. According to 50, there's only one way to chase that missing $340 million. Step back into the ring for two massive fights that would instantly rewrite the headlines. He wrote on Instagram, "Oh no, don't cry now, champ. They beat you out of $320 million, you dumb. I told you, let me read the contracts. Now lace up. You gotta look good fighting, Mike. Then maybe we can get Bud to beat your for some big money." And caught right in the middle of this storm is Al Haymon, a figure Max Kellerman once described as one of the most powerful forces boxing has ever seen. According to Max, Haymon's dominance reshaped the sport in uncomfortable ways. Fighters were paid handsomely and early, risk all but disappeared, and many blockbuster fights fans demanded were delayed or never happened. The business thrived, but did boxing's competitive fire fade?
Al Haymon was so good at his job
Yes.
that he was clowning these networks. He was out negotiating the networks to the point where they were giving you an inferior product because his fighters were getting overpaid for lesser fights.
We weren't getting overpaid.
In that,
we weren't getting
I'm happy
overpaid.
for every dollar he made.
Freddie Hernandez.
Yeah, right.
This is the golden child of Al Haymon right here.
But it is admirable that Al Haymon not only did his job so well, but was helping fighters get rich while he was doing it. He created a climate where fighters started to begin to believe that they were worth more money. I don't mean to me. You're worth all the money in the world to me, the fighters. But I mean to the marketplace than they actually were. And so now it became difficult to make fights.
You really want us to change our mindset, right? The fact that we were putting our health in jeopardy every time we stepped in that ring. So we had to make sure to get every penny that we could.
Andre Berto then stepped in, highlighting just how unfair and complicated the situation was, especially on the business side of boxing. He argued that Al Haymon's strategy wasn't actually failing the fighters, it was protecting them. Max Kellerman, however, held his ground, admitting the plan worked brilliantly from Haymon's perspective, while still acknowledging real issues fighters faced. And just as cracks widened, Turki Alalshik entered the picture, offering fighters a new structure, bigger stages, and clearer pay.
Every time we stepped in there, I mean, that's the mindset that he put in our minds on a regular basis.
And good for him. But when he does his job that well, then Andre Berto doesn't have to take the best fights to make the money, and now me as the consumer doesn't get to see the best Andre Berto fights. My point is, fighters started thinking that the market was different than it really was, because Al was juicing the market. In that climate, big fights stopped getting made, because fighters are thinking, I'm making all this money for not taking a risk. You want me to fight that killer, or their managers want me to fight that killer for not much more money? Into that terrible situation for the consumer stepped Turki Al-Sheikh, who said, oh, okay, wait, what are your petty differences? It's over $1 million or $2 million? Here it is. Here's my gift to the boxing world. Everyone, take this fight.
But here's where the situation turns even trickier. Even with Turki Alalshik paying fighters enough to make the biggest matchups possible, some fights still aren't happening, and that raises even bigger questions. Max Kellerman points directly to the long-awaited Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis showdown, a fight fans are begging for but still can't get. Now, attention is shifting towards Zuffa boxing, a new model that could completely restructure the sport as we know it.
Yeah.
Now the problem is...
But he's overpaying. Like I said, I'm not mad at that. If you're going to give me the money, we're going to fight whoever you want me to fight.
But Dre, now the problem is Boots and Virgil can't get made for $6 million plus for the fighters? Do you think the average person on the street in this country knows who Boots and Virgil are?
Terence Crawford shows zero interest in chasing comeback fights for massive paydays. Unlike Floyd Mayweather, he's made it clear that whether the offer is $80 million or $100 million, he's not returning. For Crawford, chasing money would feel like selling his soul. He's stayed true to himself, competing to achieve greatness in the sport, and in his view, he's already done that. Meanwhile, Floyd's repeated returns have earned him the money reputation he carries.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity, you ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money, you know? Of course, I was in a sport to make money, but I wanted to be a world champion. You know, I wanted to do something that I set my sights out to do as a little boy. Money wasn't the motivation. Me being a world champion was the motivation.
Explaining his intentions, Crawford made it very clear he's already accomplished the goal he dreamed of as a little boy, to become a world champion. Nothing else matters to him. In his view, chasing money at this stage would mean selling his soul and losing his dignity. Crawford refuses to fall into that trap, staying committed to his principles and the legacy he's built through hard work and true achievement in the sport.
Me accomplishing all the things that I've accomplished along the way on my journey, you know, it was extra credit. It was extra credit because coming from the hood, it was like, man, I just want to be a world champion because that's just my dream. So when I became a world champion, it was just like, man, all this other stuff is like a cherry on the top. Like, you know what I mean? I did what I set my sights out to do. It was evident that I wasn't gonna let nothing stand in the way of me accomplishing that goal in my life. My mom telling me all the time, you need to get a plan B. You need to go to school.
Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather's new lawsuit exposes just how broken boxing's system may be. He claims money from his biggest fights, including Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, was funneled into accounts controlled by Al Haymon. Years later, when his new team requested Showtime's records, they were told the documents were lost in a flood. Now, suing Showtime and Stephen Espinoza for fraud, civil conspiracy, and unjust enrichment, Floyd is also seeking punitive damages, with his attorneys confident of victory. Bobby Samini said, "Floyd is one of boxing's biggest pay-per-view draws. He generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for Showtime. Mr. Mayweather now takes this fight to the courtroom to recover what he rightfully earned. Retiring undefeated at 50-0, Mr. Mayweather will go the distance in the courtroom just as he has in the ring. While Showtime has long been the ultimate platform for fighters worldwide, Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit now casts a glaring spotlight on what happens behind the scenes. If Crawford ever commented on it, it could open a floodgate of questions about organizers. For Floyd's legacy, opinions are mixed. Many fighters, including Keith Thurman, see him more as a businessman than a sportsman, strategically chasing money at every turn rather than focusing solely on the sport.
Some of your best fights happen under the Showtime platform. Can you share a little bit of your take on what's going on with Mayweather? He's suing Showtime for $340 million.
Nah, we don't care. Money man trying to get more money and had a lot of money and did dumb things with money, and you know, it is what it is, man. Rich people got rich people problems. I ain't mad at them.
Doubts about the legitimacy of Floyd Mayweather's claims have only been growing. People are asking whether he's manufacturing another drama out of personal issues. The situation becomes even murkier knowing Floyd isn't suing Al Haymon directly, but rather Showtime, the entity that funneled money to Haymon. How could Floyd not notice this during his entire career? And if he did get the money, where exactly did it go? Questions about timing, awareness, and intent now hang over his claims.
I don't know whether or not Al Haymon did any of this or not. This is an accusation made in a civil court by Floyd Mayweather Jr., not even against Al Haymon. We'll see where exactly and why, I don't know, he wouldn't sue Al Haymon. He's suing the people that paid Al Haymon the money and appropriated it to Al Haymon. instead of to Floyd Mayweather Jr. directly. We would have to understand the contractual relationships between those parties to see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about, or did know about, or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Haymon and not directly to him.
From 50 Cent's shocking remarks, Crawford beats your to the swirling drama around Floyd Mayweather's $340 million lawsuit, the boxing world is buzzing. Crawford stays true to his path, refusing comeback fights for cash, while Floyd continues to stir controversy and headlines. Could 50 Cent's jabs hint at a Crawford versus Mayweather showdown quietly brewing behind the scenes? What do you think? Real or just hype? Drop a comment, smash that like, share, and subscribe for all the latest boxing drama.